Untuk kamu yang suka film, kalian wajib tonton Voila sampai habis karena saya akan kasih tahu kalian tentang film Prancis. Bonjour, salut, saya Gilang dan di episode Voila kali ini saya mau ngasih tahu kalian tentang film Prancis. Udah tahu belum kalau Prancis adalah salah satu negara yang penting untuk industri film dunia? Kok bisa sih? Bisa dong. Kita mundur dulu nih, ke satu abad yang lalu pada tahun 1895 rilis sebuah film berjudul L'Arrivée d'un train en gare de la Ciotat yang dibuat oleh Louis dan Auguste Lumière. Auguste ya, bukan Agus. Film ini sederhana banget, hanya merekam datangnya kereta di stasiun Ciotat. Terus apa yang membuat film ini spesial? L'Arrivée d'un train en gare de la Ciotat adalah film pertama di dunia. Lumière bersaudaralah yang menemukan sinematograf, sebuah kombinasi antara kinetografi, printer, dan proyektor. Boom! Nah, ada cerita lucu nih waktu film ini pertama kali ditayangin. Karena film ini menggunakan perspektif yang belum pernah ada sebelumnya, kedatangan kereta tuh jadi berasa nyata banget. Bahkan ada tuh penonton sampai kaget pas keretanya datang. Terus ada juga beberapa yang lari keluar karena takut ditabrak kereta. Gak hanya Lumière, kamu juga perlu tahu tentang Georges Méliès dan filmnya yang berjudul Le Voyage dans la Lune. Film ini sangat spesial dan dinobatkan sebagai film fiksi ilmiah pertama di dunia. Dalam film ini, Méliès menggunakan teknik fotografi stop motion. Film ini dibuat di studio milik Méliès dan merupakan produksi film yang cukup besar pada saat itu. Kenapa? Karena semua set dibuat dengan skala yang sebenarnya. Terus, kru dan aktornya juga banyak banget. Film ini juga sukses secara internasional dan menjadi salah satu film penting dalam sejarah perfilman dunia. Nah, saya kasih trivia tambahan nih ya. Kalau kamu nanti kuliah perfilman di Indonesia atau di Prancis, kamu pasti disuruh nonton film ini di semester awal. Lanjut, perfilman Prancis berkembang pesat setelah Perang Dunia Kedua. Beberapa film yang kamu perlu tonton adalah Les Enfants du Paradis karya Marcel Kang, terus La Belle et la Bête karya Jean Cocteau. Iya, film kartun Beauty and the Beast itu originalnya adalah film Prancis. Terus ada The Interdit karya Ren Clément dan juga ada La Ronde karya Max Ophuls yang berkontribusi besar dalam world cinema. Pada tahun 1950 muncul sebuah gerakan yang mengubah industri film Prancis. Nouvelle Vague atau New Wave atau gelombang baru yang muncul dan menciptakan gaya sinematik baru dengan teknik dan pendekatan yang berbeda. Para pembuat film lebih bebas berkreasi, lebih menekankan pada visi pribadi dan artistik film daripada nilai komersial. Para sinias Nouvelle Vague adalah pendiri film independen modern yang mempengaruhi industri film dunia. 3 sutradara penting dalam Nouvelle Vague yang wajib kalian tonton filmnya adalah François Truffaut, Alain Resnais, dan ini nih salah satu favorit saya, Jean-Luc Godard. Saya tambahin ya rekomendasi film Godard yang paling keren menurut saya. Kalau kalian nanti mampir ke IFI nih, terus kalian ke Mediatek, pinjem film Godard yang judulnya Abu de Souffle. Jujur itu film keren banget. Gak lengkap ya rasanya kalau negara dengan industri film penting tapi nggak punya festival film. Nah, Prancis memiliki Festival Film Cannes. Festival Film Cannes ini diselenggarakan pertama kali pada tahun 1983 atas prakarsa Menteri Pendidikan dan Kebudayaan Zhong Zhe dan diberi nama Le Festival International du Film. Penghargaan tertinggi dalam Cannes untuk sutradara terbaik adalah Palme d'Or. Kenapa sih festival ini penting? Ya kalau nggak penting nggak bakalan dibahas dong. Gak hanya karena eksklusivitas dan kualitas filmnya, salah satu acara dalam Cannes adalah Marché du Film yang membuka jalan untuk para pembuat film mendapatkan distributor hingga sponsorship. Voilà, itu dia beberapa hal yang perlu kalian tahu tentang perfilman Prancis. Dan tiap tahun, IFI menyelenggarakan Festival Sinema Prancis. Dan kalian bisa nonton berbagai macam film Prancis yang keren-keren banget selama festival tersebut berlangsung. Tunggu informasi lebih lanjut untuk penyelenggaraan tahun ini ya. Dan yang terakhir, setiap 2 minggu sekali, IFI juga memberikan rekomendasi film-film Prancis yang tentunya seru-seru banget. Jadi jangan lupa pantau terus sosial media saya, @gilangkidra. Ya bukanlah, sosial media IFI tentunya. Selamat menjelajahi film-film Prancis dan sampai bertemu di episode Voila selanjutnya. Merci et à la prochaine fois. Action. Oke.
Film ini punya kasih rating 7 dari 10.
Dia bisa nongol.
Isi juga kan punya banyak.
Selamat malam teman-teman yang sudah bergabung di pembukaan Festival Sinema Prancis 2021 malam ini, baik di Zoom maupun di YouTube. Pada acara pembukaan kali ini, teman-teman dimohon untuk mematikan mic dan kamera demi kenyamanan bersama, kecuali dengan persetujuan panitia. Sebelum memulai, kita akan menonton film pendek pemenang talenta masa depan sinema yang berjudul The Last Utterances, karya Raditya Kurnia Saputra.
Banyak orang bilang, pertemuan itu cuma satu langkah dari perpisahan. Kayak nggak mungkin ada probabilitas lain yang keluar dari takdir alam bawah sadar kita. Sebelum kamu pergi, aku ingin mengutarakan satu cerita paling berkesan dari ribuan memori yang kita lalui. Kamu siap? Kamu ingat? Waktu kita selesai nonton film La Vie en Rose di salah satu pemutaran alternatif. Kita berdua tergila-gila sampai hafal beberapa dialog dari film itu. Kamu selalu mengambil dialog favorit aku dari babak akhir film itu. Redoutez-vous la mort? Lalu aku menjawab, moi, la solitude. Lalu kamu melanjutkan pertanyaan lagi. Pertanyaan ini yang entah kenapa aku tidak pernah bisa menjawabnya. Priez-vous? Oh iya. Aku juga masih ingat waktu kamu bertingkah seperti anak kecil yang memaksa untuk dibelikan mainan. Kamu memaksa kita untuk pergi ke Champs-Élysées di Paris. Seolah perjalanannya bisa ditempuh pakai mobil butut aku. Je me baladais sur l'avenue, la cœur ouvert à l'inconnu. J'avais envie de dire bonjour à n'importe qui. N'importe qui. Et ce fut toi. Je t'ai dit n'importe quoi. Il suffisait de te parler pour t'apprivoiser. Oh, Champs-Élysées. Oh, Champs-Élysées.
Saya ucapkan selamat malam kembali kepada teman-teman yang bergabung malam ini, baik di Zoom maupun di YouTube. Terima kasih sudah menyempatkan waktunya untuk bergabung di pembukaan malam ini, di mana kita akan berbincang dengan seorang dokumentaris asal Prancis, Pierre-Emmanuel Le Goff, yang telah membuat 4 film dokumenter mengenai Thomas Pesquet, seorang astronot Prancis yang menjalani misi ke luar angkasa. Selama perbincangan, teman-teman dipersilakan untuk mengajukan pertanyaan di chat box Zoom ataupun kolom komen YouTube. 2 orang dengan pertanyaan terpilih akan mendapatkan hadiah Mola TV Box. Jangan lupa juga untuk mengunggah aktivitas pembukaan Festival Sinema Prancis 2021 malam ini di Instastory Anda, baik berupa video ataupun screen capture, serta mention @ev_Indonesia. Kami akan memilih 4 pemenang untuk mendapatkan bingkisan dari L'Oreal. Acara malam ini akan dimoderatori oleh Menina Putri Wismurti. Namun, sebelum beranjak ke Mbak Menina, kita saksikan kata pengantar dari Stefan Dovert selaku Direktur IVI.
Institut Fransai Indonesia amat berbahagia karena dapat merayakan Festival Sinema Prancis edisi ke-23 bersama Anda. Siapa yang tidak ingin bertemu bintang? Maksud saya bukan bintang film saja, tetapi bintang yang betulan. Kali ini, Festival Sinema Prancis akan membawa penonton Indonesia ke luar angkasa. Tetapi saya mohon kesabaran Anda. Akan saya jelaskan nanti saja. Festival ini adalah kesempatan bagi kami untuk memperkenalkan keragaman sinema Prancis. Tidak hanya ada satu film, sinema Prancis ada banyak ragamnya. Maka akan ada film untuk memuaskan segala selera. Klasik, komedi, drama, thriller, dan sebagainya. Edisi tahun ini harus beradaptasi guna mencari solusi. Sebab penting sekali agar Anda dapat tetap merasa istimewa karena bisa mengakses produk budaya Prancis yang berkualitas. Dari tanggal 1 sampai dengan 30 November, berkat kerjasama yang sama sekali baru antara IFI dan Mola, Anda dapat menonton secara gratis 18 film Prancis. Semuanya berkarir bahasa Indonesia. Selama 1 bulan, Festival Sinema Prancis akan mengajak Anda untuk ikut dalam sebuah perjalanan melalui sinema Prancis. Persinggahan pertama yaitu di luar angkasa bersama tamu kehormatan kita, sutradara Pierre-Emmanuel Le Goff yang mengikuti kesibukan astronaut Thomas Pesquet selama 2 tahun. Tanggal 1 November nanti, saat telekonferensi Pembukaan Festival Sinema Prancis, Pierre-Emmanuel Le Goff akan menjawab semua pertanyaan Anda. Ya, pasti seperti janji saya tadi, kita akan ikut Thomas Pesquet ke langit. Setelah itu, kita akan kembali turun ke bumi dan berpergian melintasi waktu menuju masa lampau. Dari Prancis, abad ke-18, melalui Portrait d'une jeune fille en feu, ke era Perang Dunia yang memorak pelandakan Prancis lewat Au revoir là-haut. Là-haut menuju Prancis tahun 70-an yang penuh rasa ingin tahu melalui film seri OVNI. Saya sarankan juga satu film yang sangat menegangkan, sekaligus memikat, Les Misérables. Kami sangat mengharapkan kehadiran Anda untuk merayakan bersama-sama Festival Sinema Prancis edisi ke-23. terucap rasa terima kasih untuk kesetiaan Anda. Terakhir dan terpenting, jangan lupa panjang umur budaya dan sinema.
And cut.
Halo semuanya, selamat malam. Selamat berjumpa lagi dengan saya, Menina Putri Wismurti, sebagai moderator untuk malam ini. Seperti yang teman-teman mungkin sudah pernah lihat, saya juga kemarin baru selesai menutup festival film yang lain, yaitu di Europe on Screen 2021 yang kami tutup kemarin di bulan Oktober. Dan kali ini saya merasa sangat terhormat bisa bersama teman-teman, bertemu kembali dengan teman-teman semua di sini dalam acara pembukaan Festival Sinema Prancis 2021, yaitu memasuki edisi ke-23. Festival Sinema Prancis sendiri buat saya merupakan festival yang saya pertama kali ikuti dulu ketika saya masih jadi murid di CCF, dulu namanya bukan IFI tapi CCF, salah satu festival film terlama di Indonesia, festival film yang pertama kali ada juga itu di tahun 90-an, ketahuan deh, udah tua kalau sayanya. Nah, sebagai penggemar festival film, sebagai penggemar film-film internasional, saya selalu menunggu kedatangan Festival Sinema Prancis. Oleh karena itu saya merasa sangat terhormat malam ini bisa bertemu kalian semua dan bisa ngobrol. Dan kita juga tahun ini ada acara Festival Sinema Prancis lagi yang memutar 17 film di Mola TV dari hari ini, tanggal 1 November sampai tanggal 30 November. Nah, temanya untuk tahun ini adalah resolusi. Kenapa resolusi? Karena teman-teman Festival Sinema Prancis ini berusaha untuk menemukan solusi kepada penonton Indonesia untuk bisa menonton film walaupun kita masih dalam keadaan pandemi semacam ini. Dan filmnya ini juga akan tersedia dengan subtitle bahasa Indonesia, jadi teman-teman sudah bisa menonton filmnya dari hari ini sekarang untuk ke-17 film dan satu seri. 17 filmnya itu apa aja ya? Nah, saya nggak hafal semuanya, cuma yang pasti kita ada film 16 Sunrises yang nanti kita akan ngobrol bareng dengan filmmakernya, Bapak Pierre-Emmanuel Le Goff. Lalu juga ada beberapa film yang kebetulan juga merupakan film favorit dan kebetulan saya dan rekan saya Nova juga sempat menonton film-film tersebut ketika mereka premier di Cannes. Jadi filmnya itu seperti salah satu favorit saya adalah film Pang atau Love Me If You Dare. Saya sempat nonton dulu ketika Festival Sinema Prancis masih diadakan oleh CCF, jadi masih di bioskop, diputar di situ. Lalu juga ada beberapa film lainnya seperti C'est la vie, itu film komedi yang sangat menarik. Dan juga ada seperti yang tadi Pak Stefan bilang, Au revoir là-haut, See You Up There, itu film kriminal komedi juga. Dan tentunya film yang kita tunggu-tunggu ada Les Misérables. Ini adalah adaptasi dari cerita Les Misérables yang terkenal, tapi buat saya justru film Les Misérables ini sangat pas dengan situasi dunia sekarang. Waktu itu kebetulan kita nonton di Cannes, di Festival Cannes, dan semua orang langsung standing applause ketika film itu premier. Dan juga ada Portrait of a Lady on a Fire, bukan film terakhir Céline Sciamma, tapi film ini juga membuat dia kembali percaya untuk membuat film lagi, karena ketika dia menerima penghargaan untuk film ini, dia bilang, saya sebenarnya sudah hampir give up untuk bikin film, tapi akhirnya mendapatkan penghargaan untuk film ini. Dan kalau kalian sempat nonton filmnya dia yang terbaru, nanti mungkin di festival film atau di platform online lainnya, itu juga ada Petit Maman, itu juga filmnya dia yang terbaru, juga sangat menarik. Dan ada satu film klasik ya dari sutradara Prancis kesayangan saya, Jacques Tati, itu Monsieur ou le Holiday, itu kalian bisa lihat juga, itu sangat menarik filmnya, sangat buat saya sangat lucu tapi juga romantis. Nah, jadi kalian bisa nonton di Mola TV. Caranya bagaimana? caranya kalian bisa langsung lihat di website IFI, www.ifi-id.com. Lalu juga ada berbagai macam kuis, jangan lupa. Kalau ada festival film pasti ada kuis. Jadi kalian bisa pantengin terus Instagramnya IFI Indonesia. Selalu ada banyak kuis yang bisa kalian ikuti dan hadiahnya itu ada Mola TV Box dan juga paket seru dari L'Oreal. Dan juga ada beberapa pemutaran. Jadi mungkin kalau di Jakarta dan tempat-tempat di daerah-daerah lainnya kalian bisa menonton secara online, tapi di Bali mereka memiliki pemutaran yang secara offline bisa didatangi itu di tanggal 5, 6 dan 7 November. Di mana tempatnya itu kalian bisa lihat nanti di Mesh Denpasar, di Dharma Negara Alia dan juga Uma Seminyak. Uma Seminyak ini Mas Denpasar aku udah pernah lihat juga seru tempatnya. Yang belum aku pernah datengin itu Dharma Negara Alia. Uma Seminyak enak nontonnya karena di outdoor, di luar, bisa sambil ngopi-ngopi. Kalian seru bisa nonton di situ juga pada tanggal 5, 6, 7 November. Untuk gimana cara nontonnya bisa dipantau juga di sosial media IFI, di Instagram terutama. Dan saya juga ingin berterima kasih kepada festival partner dari Festival Sinema Prancis, yaitu Campus Franc, TV Semong, France 24, Info Screening, Moviegoers, Kincir, Misbar, L'Oreal, Mini Kino, Mas Denpasar, Dharma Negara Alia, dan Uma Seminyak.
Mantieni l'ordine.
Bougez pas, bande de fils de pute! Le premier qui bouge, il défonce son entière!
Ah ouais, parce que je me disais quel rapport avec serveur.
En sortir.
T'aimes Rachel. Chercher la méthode.
Gimana menurut kalian trailer Festival Sinema Prancis tahun ini? Coba kalian nanti share ya pendapat kalian di Instagram mereka, di Twitter juga bisa share di semua sosial medianya. Dan sekarang kita akan ngobrol dengan salah satu filmmaker pionir, karena beliau merupakan filmmaker pertama yang bisa membuat film dengan resolusi 6K pertama kali di luar angkasa. Wah, ini sebenarnya sangat menarik sekali karena film luar angkasa yang didokumenter seperti yang sudah dilakukan Bapak Pierre-Emmanuel Le Goff ini adalah yang pertama kali dilakukan, dan film ini sendiri sudah dirilis di tahun 2018, 16 Sunrises ini, dan ini mengikuti perjalanan salah satu astronot terkenal Prancis, Thomas Pesquet, yang terpilih dari 8.000 kandidat se-Eropa untuk dikirim ke ISS, International Space Station. International Space Station ini merupakan salah satu destinasi wisata yang saya kepingin banget cuma dari kecil, karena saya dulu bercita-cita menjadi astronot, dan bisa membuat film di dalam situ tuh adalah sesuatu yang sangat amazing. Jadi ini bisa kalian nanti, kalau kalian ingin bertanya silakan, nanti panitia akan membantu juga untuk membuka jalur bicara kalian sehingga kalian bisa bertanya langsung dengan Bapak Pierre-Emmanuel Le Goff. Dan dari sini saya akan berbicara dalam bahasa Inggris, kita tidak akan berbicara dalam bahasa Prancis, thanks God, kepada Bapak Pierre-Emmanuel Le Goff. Tapi kalau kalian bertanya dalam bahasa Indonesia, tidak apa-apa, nanti saya akan bantu untuk menerjemahkan kepada Bapak Pierre-Emmanuel Le Goff. So, hi, hello.
Hello Mélina.
Bonjour Pierre.
Bonjour, très heureux d'être avec vous. Very glad to be with you today.
Yeah, it's good. Thank you for coming to the opening night of the Festival Sinema Prancis. It's a an honor to meet you here and also to have this opportunity to talk with you.
It's a very good opportunity for me because it is the first time my movie screened in Jakarta in Indonesia. So I'm very glad to be here and to answer the question of all your spectators.
Yes, thank you. So I just get these notes from the from the team here. So yes, it is very such an honor for us, for me as well. I mean, in the past I've been running the festival too with Ify, and this is actually the first time that we opened the Festival Sinema Prancis with 4 films of yours directly at the same time. And the films have already been screened since early morning this day. So I hope that all the audience can already watch the film. And talking about your famous film, The 16 Sunrises, I think that's also really something that to look forward to. But before we start, probably we could introduce you a little bit more. And I understand that you are also the director of the CEO of La Fang Sankander, and then also the teacher at La Femis. So maybe you can also introduce what is your daily activities right now at this moment? Are you doing some movies or other things so that the audience here can know you better?
Yeah, I'm not only a director, I'm producer of movies. It could be fiction or documentaries, and I'm a distributor. That means that I have to find theaters to release the movie. It could be in France, but also in a festival all over the world. So I like to use my different capacities to develop projects, to realize some of them, and to discover maybe sometimes some new directors. And it's a very interesting job for me to have that different jobs. And the thing I prefer is it's an evidence for me it's to be a director, but it's very interesting to work with other directors and to find money to produce their movie and to find how to present this movie to spectators in France and to build a strategy of communication and something like that.
Yes, thank you for the introduction. And but before we start, we will see first the trailer of 16 Sunrises. As I earlier mentioned, that this is a very special edition of Festival Sinema Prancis because this is the first time that we open the festival with 4 films directly. It's called The 16 Sunrises, and then we have also Thomas Pesquet, How to Become an Astronaut, and then The Space Correspondence and Through the Eyes of an Astronaut. So yes, now we will take a look on the 16 Sunrises trailer.
Okay.
Three, 2, 1.
Allô Thomas, c'est maman. Je suis très fière de te savoir là-bas.
J'ai du mal à croire que je te parle en orbite à la station. On espère que tu vas bien.
Bonjour, ici Ina. En cas d'alerte astronaute, comment réagissez-vous? Over.
Station, this is your president. Do you hear me?
C'est les sorties extravéhiculaires. Quand on sort du sas, on regarde en dessous de ses pieds, on a 450 km de vide et en dessous on a les continents qui défilent à 28 km/h. spatial, ça vole dans le ciel à 28 000 km/h, et donc ça fait 16 levées de soleil tous les jours.
Thank you. That was very exciting, the trailer. It's actually contained a lot of my favorite scenes in the movie too, especially with when Thomas is playing with the water. That's really interesting to see how the water can be actually like a little balls in the space. So yes, maybe we could start with a little bit introduction from your part about the film itself. Like, I wonder how you come up with an idea to make this film. What was the inspiration?
I think it's maybe the destiny for me, because I was writing a scenario of fiction about a lighthouse keeper, and in this scenario it was I imagine a character which was a French astronaut. And during this period, I was contacted by a friend of mine, a German producer and director, and he told me that he was looking for a French producer to co-produce his documentary about a German astronaut called Alexander Gerst. So I said, okay, it's crazy. I'm writing a scenario with a French astronaut, and you tell me that you want me to become a co-producer of a movie shot in space. So I said, okay, let's go. And I looked for money for this movie. And so it was the first HD movie shot in space. And during the post-production of this movie, ESA, European Space Agency, revealed that there will be a French astronaut to go to the space station a few months after. And this astronaut is Thomas Pesquet. So we do a meet with my co-producer and say, okay, we have to produce a new movie about this French astronaut, and not only for TV, because the first movie was for TV, but also in different formats. So we produced two feature films for cinema, a documentary for TV, two movies in virtual reality, two movies for planetarium, and one IMAX movie with Marion Cotillard as narrator. So it was very interesting to produce all that different movies, different formats, and this is a story on how I became a producer and director of space movie. But I have to precise that for 16 Sunrises, I was the only director, because my co-director was shooting a documentary about all this in Yellowstone Park in the United States. So I was the only director, and I could make a very intimate and personal movie. So that's the fact to be the only director. So this is a story.
So that's the story, the inspiration. So you basically know Thomas after you get introduced to the project.
No, not exactly. I just heard with this announcement by ESA that there will be a French astronaut, but we presented as the previous documentary, which was called Zero Gravity. So we presented to him in a French theater in Paris, and it was the first meeting with him, and he discovered our works, and he said, okay, it's a it could be a good way to make a new movie, but I want to do a better movie than my friend Alexander Gerst, because the astronauts are very challenging. So we not produced just only a movie, but 7 movies about his mission.
Ah, okay.
And we became friends during his training, because for the first documentary, we follow him all over the world, in the Space Center, in Houston, in Cologne, in Moscow, And during this shooting, we become very close because we have the same age, and we are French, most of us, and it was very important to have this confidence with me, because when he was in space, it was not possible for me to go to space. So he shot the next sequences of the movie for me, and his crewmates shot other sequence. So it was very important to be very close with him. And I was connected by email with him during this mission, but it was not very easy. And it was very important that I have this confidence in my job by him.
So you have been with him through the whole production. So I was just wondering, since he got elected to be the astronaut that's going to be sent to ISS, then you have to follow him since the very first day he did the training. And how long does it take for you to do all the following?
For me, it was 1 year. So the last year his training, but his training is about 5 or 6 years. The total of his training. But what is the most interesting for me is just before the launch, so the last year, and after the mission was a 6 months mission, and we follow him during the few days after the landing in Kazakhstan. So it was with the post-production 4 years, 4-year story to produce and to direct the 7 movies we have done.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering, when watching the film, I was wondering how close you were with Thomas. I thought that you guys were like kindergarten or childhood friends, because he seems to be willing to do all this production on the space. How do you convince him to do so?
I convinced him because for him it was very important to share his mission with the French and with all the world who are interesting about space. So it was a very good opportunity to him to explain what he is doing during his mission. Because when you don't have seen a movie, you can think that astronauts are just people who have fun in a no gravity area and who takes a picture. No, they have to do a lot of experiences, and more than 150 during a 6 months mission. So it's a very important mission they have to do, and it is the only place that's allowed to make no gravity experience. So for him, it was very important to explain that through the movies, and also to explain that during a 6 months mission in space, you can take a step back about your life in Earth, and you can feel how the Earth is fragile and how it's important to protect it. So there is a lot of environmental issue about the global warming that he could share through the movie.
So he's willing to do that because he has sharing the same vision with you to share his experience. This is really interesting. There was like one moment in the beginning of your film where he was explaining about his personal life with his wife. Like his wife is working to save the world, the children, the food, and all that. Yes, and he was saying something about, and I will make them to dream. Is this something that it is coming from himself directly, or was it something that you guys have been discussing?
No, it was something we discussed before, because it's a joke that he have done a lot of time before the interview. So it was important for me to have that sequences in the taxi, because it's not really the truth, because it's right that his wife is very implicated in his job, but what he's doing during his mission is very important too, to try to not really to save the world, to save people, but to aware about environmental issue and to make it possible to accelerate the awareness about that topics. So I think they're a very good team because he used the dream to convince people, and his wife used very more efficient, maybe job, but there are it's a complementary. I think.
Yes, I think so too. I think when you watch when watching your films, it's about teaching human being to dream again and to bring up whatever hopes that you have left in yourself. And this is something that really important to be shared, especially in times like this. And watching your films in times where we have to stay at home, we cannot invite you to Jakarta. This is something that really touching. Is this also something that part the dream content itself? Is it something that a decision to relate the film with the Saint-Exupéry, Little Prince?
Yeah, for me it was very important to use this metaphor. I just want to present you the statue.
The statue. Oh, that's the oh, he was on the space. Is it the same guy?
Yeah, with the sockets of my doctor. So yeah, for me it was very important to make this parallel between the books of Antoine de Saint-Exupéry and the mission of Thomas Pesquet, because Antoine de Saint-Exupéry was a very famous aviator and a writer too, and Thomas is an aviator, astronaut, and a saxophonist too. So there is a lot of parallel we can build, and for me it's important to use the books and of Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, because when he writes his books, it was important for him to explain how his mission of aviator transformed him and his vision of the world. So it's allow me to explain maybe more the inner space experience of Thomas Pesquet, and I hope it works for the spectators. And I think the Little Prince is like Thomas Pesquet himself, because the Little Prince come from an asteroid and go away from his little planet, and it is quite the same for Thomas Pesquet. He escaped from his planet, from the Earth, and take a step back, thanks to his very good place in the SS. So it is a kind of metaphor for me to use this Little Prince in the movie. And the Little Prince is, I think, a character who have a very good vision of the absolutity of the world, and above all of the humankind. And I think it was very important to explain that in the movie, that we live like crazy people, I think. And I used sequences with Donald Trump, and I think a lot of people who lead the world are crazy people. And so I think the Little Prince is a good way to express that.
Yes, that's true. And also, like Little Prince, Thomas Pesquet made very interesting character inside the ISS.
Yeah. And I hope people in Jakarta know the tale of the Little Prince. And if they don't know, they have to read it again, because it's very contemporary tale, I think.
Yeah, Un Petit Prince or Little Prince is very famous here. I think it's even more famous than Babar the elephant. And yeah, it's very famous. We have seen a lot of films, animation and also non-animation. And also if any one of you, the audience, who wants also to see or to read the story of Antong Sang Asupere Little Prince, you can go to IFI and they have it at the Mediatek and including also the film. So this is some, and also Little Prince itself has been translated actually to Indonesian language. You could find it also in the bookshop. So it's very famous. The story is very famous among Indonesian audience actually. And it is interesting how you put your daughter's socks and also and also the Little Prince toy into the space, and he would actually bring it along with him with Thomas, and including the book as well. That is something that's really impressive and really amazing to do, because I understand from your film that you can only bring like half kilos.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Just a shoebox. You know, it's a very little suit for him. So I just say to myself, okay, maybe a very, very little statue, he could bring it with him. And it was a success. I was very pleased for that.
Yeah, that's really good. And also, I was also wondering, how did you guys manage to get him the saxophone?
It was very difficult. I was not really implicated in that kind of a little mission to bring in the SS. It was a gift for his birthday, which was organized by his wife and a friend of him, who is a saxophone teacher. And they have negotiated with NASA to put it in a cargo, in a space cargo. And it was very well organized because it arrived just a few days before his birthday. So for me, it was very important moment to know that it could be possible for him to record parts of the original soundtrack. And so I contact the composer of the soundtrack of the movie and ask him to compose a very easy soundtrack. And I send the partition to Thomas with the connection I have with him by email. And so Thomas take a few minutes and is a very busy schedule to record. And I was writing, I have written this scene with him just front of the cupola and the earth. So it was a big and fantastic moment to discover the sequences I have imagined some months before. So it was a very, very good destiny. One more time.
Yes, it's very fit also, and makes the movie even more poetic than it already is. And the shots. At the beginning, when I watched your film, I was like, oh, did Pierre also go to the space? I don't think that's possible. But then you explain here that you actually handed it to him, and I am so impressed how he can actually manage to put all the camera in different places. That's really wonderful.
Yeah, it was very difficult because when they are in the SS, the team of astronauts are really busy. They work 6 days per week, so they just have 1 day to do other things. So they have to contact their family, and they have to make some communication events. And it was very difficult to negotiate to have 1 hour or 2 hours per week for him to shoot the movies. And it was all the more difficult that we have produced 7 movies, so you have to change the lens of the camera. He has to ask his crewmates if they can shot him from some sequences. So it was a very big adventure to negotiate all those things. And when we begin the experience, the adventure in space, we were not very sure that we could have enough picture for the movies. But Thomas was very engaged in the project, so we can have a lot of material for the movie. It was a very good partner for us.
Yes. And how many hours of footage that you have? Like, because you're following him for like more over than a year.
I don't know exactly, because we have our own footage in 6K,
right.
But there is a lot of other camera in the SS, and that are used for the experience to be directed by the scientific in the Earth. So we could have 500 or 600 hours, but we don't take this time to watch all these movies shot during all the days. We just selected the best shots in 6K. That was the project for the IMAX movie and for the feature film. And after, for TV documentary, we watch other in the hard disk. We look for other experience, but it was not the main material we used. So it was just infinite material.
Hours. Yeah. Yes, I can imagine. Like, you must have got like a great team of editing to put them together.
Sure. I think my team is the team who knows the best all the material of the NASA for this mission. Sure.
Yes, and also, what is your favorite fun or favorite production moment? Whether it's something like I saw it in the eyes, through the eyes of the astronaut, and also
I think it was the launch in Baikonur in Kazakhstan, because it was a very emotive moments. It was for us the first time a friend of mine was on a rocket, and it was it is a very dangerous moment, and it was all the more emotional that it is in the same launch pad as Yuri Gagarin. So it is like a very historical moment we lived. And it was very, how can I say that? It's like a dream, because it was during a night, and with the launch of the rockets, the sky became very lightning, and it was like in a day, and we can discover very high in the sky that all happens good, and my friend is alive. And it is a really beginning of this adventure for me. And we have a camera very near of the rockets at just 50 meters. So it is a very good shot, I think. This rocket very close and very powerful. So it's, I think, the best moment of the adventure.
Yes, it is very powerful. I can feel the heat. I was like, that's very dangerous. Like putting your life on risk.
It's like a bomb. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is also wonderful. So it's basically it's the same launch pad that Yuri Gagarin used. Yeah. And that's why they did also all this ritual to bless with the spaceship.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy to when we learn that it is the same launch pad. It's not possible. It was 50 years ago now. Okay, it's the true story. I think Russians are very efficient when they build something. It's a very solid material, so it's the same. Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
But it's not the same rocket.
Yeah, I know. It's not
the same technology, but not the rocket used by Yuri Gagarin, but quite the same technology.
Yeah, but more improved, I think, compared to 50 years ago.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, and also there was like also part when you also go diving into this big pool.
Yeah. In Houston, in the Space Center, Johnson Space Center, it was really crazy to be in this very big building and this enormous swimming pool. And it was like a fiction, you know. When we enter this huge building, we think, oh, it's not the reality. It can't be true, but it was. So we have to do works, and we have no time to stop, and we work. But when we see Thomas in this swimming pool, we think it's a very, very crazy training, and he has a very, very cool job to do that, to swim in such a kind of place, and yeah, it was cool.
It was so cool. I would like to imagine that people could really live in that swimming pool. That's and it's a very, very important training, because there is quite I think 50 people who works for this training. Because it's very difficult, and it's very dangerous, and it is a training for the EVA, extravehicular activity in space. And this moment is very very dangerous, because if you have any problem, you can't go back to the ESS quickly, and you can die. There are many astronauts who have problem during this kind of mission, so they have to prepare it very, very well. Okay. Now we will go to the Q&A session directly from the audience. Yeah. So I would like to ask for Wenny Rizky in the Zoom audience. Can you kindly open your camera, please? Where's Wenny?
Hi.
Hi. Hello.
Hello. Bonjour, Pierre.
Bonjour.
Please, Wenny Rizky, if you would, please, if you would like to ask him directly, please.
Yeah. There is so many film that you made about the space. What makes you so eager and so really want to make that theme? Is there any certain memory or certain interest when you're kids, or when you grow up, or is there any issues or any message that you want to say to the audience? Any certain message that you want to say to the audience? Merci.
Yeah. For me, thank you very much for your question, Winnie. Yeah, for me, it's a kind of dream to have this opportunity to realize just one movie about a space mission. So I was thinking, okay, I have a very great opportunity, but it could be a kind of deception, we say in French. It should be pity to just do one movie, because when you produce one movie, maybe a lot of people can't see the movie because they don't have a theater near their house. They don't have a TV, a pay TV. So I think it was very important to have the possibility to be connected through the movie to maximum of people. So I decided to make movies for TV to a big audience in the French national TV, but it is a scientific movie, very didactic. But for me, it was very important to make a feature film for cinema and more with more just like to explain the inner space sentiment of Thomas Pesquet. So it's like a poetic way to make this story. And I have done also a virtual reality movie. So it's very interesting to use this technology because when you are in space, you are in a 360-degree environment, but there is a lot of people who don't have any device to see 360 degrees. So I decided to do an IMAX movie for a museum in France. It is a space museum with more than 2 million of people who came each year. So it's a very good way to share my not only mine but the message of Thomas Pesquet, which is to protect the planet, which is a very fragile environment, and we have to accelerate to change our way of life to protect this planet. So for me, it was very important to be able to share with this maximum of people with a different kind of story about the same mission, to share this message of the global warming, the importance to change our way of life.
Merci, Pierre. I hope we could enjoy your film on the IMAX soon.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. Thank you. Thank you. So yes, so the next question is coming from the YouTube audience, Pierre-Emmanuel. It's from Siam. He wrote actually in Indonesia, so I will translate that to you. He was asking that does it require a special treatment to watch the films? Probably he was talking about the one that you screen for the IMAX with the Marion Cotillard narrator. And how does it also require a special treatment to experience the movie?
Yeah, the IMAX movie is made for IMAX screen, but we have made a feature film version. You know, it's not exactly the same ratio because the IMAX images is like a square, you know, but for the feature film we have to crop in the image to have that kind of image. So it's possible maybe in Indonesia to see it in a VOD platform, maybe in TV too. But it's a shorter movie. The duration is 28 minutes. And it is with the Marion Cotillard as narrator, because Marion Cotillard, who is a very famous actress in France, is very implicated in environmental issue. So it was a good way to use this ambassador of environment as narrator.
Yes, she's very active in terms of saving the earth and environmental issues. And this is also interesting because we in the Festival Sinema Prancis this year, we are screening her very old films. I think she's very young as Judang Bang and Love Me If You Dare. Yeah. This is very a good coincidence. So everyone could also watch first appearance actually of Marion. I first noticed her in this film actually for Marion Cotillard. So so we have also other questions. For example, wow, we have a lot of questions. Do you have times until like 2 hours later? So yes, we have so many questions. So from Sinta Mutiara, what do you miss in making a movie in space, and how do you cope with the loneliness there? Maybe this is something that should be addressed to Thomas Pesquet, but also probably this is something that very interesting from your part to share us. Can you tell us about the activity you had during the shooting in space, meaning that we understand now that you have already put all the control when doing the production in space with Thomas Pesquet, but when you retrieve the recording, and what was the first feelings that you had in mind watching all these records or these hours of footage?
For me, it was, first of all, it was very successful to discover all the sequences Thomas shot for us. It was very emotional too when we discover the shot he has done during the EVA, when he go out from the SS and in the deep space, because it was very difficult for him to do his job and to shot himself with a very tiny camera, and it was very great to have those material, on a lot of material. And so after, it was not really at this moment that I decide what I want to do with the material, because when you produce a movie, we have as a director to write a scenario and to propose it to TV or other kind of production. And so we have to decide what we want to story in our movie. So what I decided before was to give the possibility for a spectator to be really in the skin of the astronaut, to feel like you are just the fourth member of the crew, and you go with him in the rocket, you go with him in the SS, and you go with him in the deep space. So it was my big goal to do that. But moreover, I want to go into directly into the mind of Thomas Pesquet, and to share it with the people, to share this emotion that he could have when he watched the Earth from the cupola, and could see this the big fire in the forest, the pollution all over the world, when he discovered that there is just a tiny atmosphere protecting the Earth. So for me, it was the main goal is, okay, you can't go to space because it's very dangerous, very expensive, and it's very I am not for the tourist in space, so I think, okay, there is just many, only astronauts, maybe 10 by year, who can go to space, but they have to share their experience with the more the biggest, the more spectators as they could. Yes. So that is my main goal, to share the emotion and also the scientific part of the mission. But I think the more important is to share the emotion of the astronaut.
I think you have succeeded in delivering those emotions. It's very seeing the Earth from outside. It's really like, as you said earlier, it's very fragile, and it's also it needed also us our positive participation and efforts to protect it. If only all the people could see it from outside. It's just, yeah, it's so beautiful.
And I have asked the composer to compose for the EVS sequence, like the Sing of the Earth, the Song of the Earth. So you can hear just like a cry of the Earth when you have this beautiful shot during the EVA. So for me, there is a kind of dialogue between the astronauts and the Earth in the other parts. They are connected, and they feel that connection. I want to share this connection, this feeling through the music of the sequence.
Yes. And we still have questions from the YouTube audience, from Ahmadi Zaini. He wrote actually in Indonesia, and I will translate them to you. So the space movie is the genre that's very interesting to Ahmadi, and it is also something that hard to compare to others. And he wanted to know whether you have some kind of movie that inspire you in making this film, or a reference or something like that. He wanted to know about that.
Yeah, for sure. I think the movie of Kubrick is the biggest movie ever about a space mission and this metaphysic way to story this kind of mission. But Interstellar is very interesting too. But I decided to not watch all the movie about space, because I prefer to write my own way, and maybe to do something very different, because it's a documentary, it's not a fiction. There is some kind of fiction for one sequence, but it's a documentary. So I was not really the master of all events during this mission, but I'm very close, I think, to Kubrick when he wants to make something very spiritual and metaphysic. For me, it was the main goal to make something very, very, very. How can I say that? Very, very impressive, very wow. But also, you can read other thing which is very more spiritual.
Yes, I think you can also feel the spirituality when watching your film. It gives a very how would one say, impact or touch.
Yeah, exactly.
some kind of consciousness in yourself when you see it, actually. And there's also another question from Rizky Mubarak in the Zoom. He was asking the difficulties or the challenges that you met during the production, probably with the permit, or how is it hard to get the permit to put the camera inside the spaceship, the ISS, or maybe something like that?
Yeah, it was very difficult to work with the space agency, with NASA, ESA, and Roscosmos for the Russian parts. So it was one of the main problems we have in the beginning of the production of movies, and we have to be very good negotiator to have permission to film in a building as the swimming pool in the Johnson Space Center, and to put a rocket just at few meters of in the launch pad in Kazakhstan. So that was the first difficulty we have. But the other was to negotiate a part-time of the schedule of Thomas in space. But we have a good I'm gonna say that a good partner, because Thomas was very involved in the project. And the other problem is the fact that with a 6K camera in space, there is a lot of impacts of the how can I say that, there is a kind of ray, X-ray. It's not X-ray, it's a space ray. We go through the ESAs and who can delete pixel in the camera. So we have to rebuild this dead pixel in post-production because there is a lot of dead pixels, so white dots all over the picture. And the more time the mission was doing, the more there is a dead pixel in the capture of camera. So it was a big problem for us, and it was very expensive to delete that dead pixel. And it was difficult too to negotiate with ESA and NASA the fact that Thomas shot during his EVA, because it's a 6-hour mission, very, very difficult, very important, and it was not very important for him to shoot. So we have to negotiate, and just at the end of the mission, you have some minutes to use his camera and to shoot what we use for this very important sequence for us.
Yes. Also, I think, wow, I just got notification from the team that we have already run out of time. So, so yes, I would like to announce, oh, wow. So there's actually a prize for the best questioners during this session today, and the winner will get a Mola TV box, and the winner goes to Mr. Muhammad Syiam from the YouTube audience, and also Wendy Rizky from the Zoom audience. And yeah, so you got the Mola TV box, and you can watch all the French film at the Festival Sinema Prancis from there. Our team from the EV team will contact you guys. So congratulations for winning the prize. Now, actually, before I conclude our session, I would like to ask you about your next project. Is it going to still something to do with the space?
Yeah, because we are working on this moment on the ciné-concert experience with the composer Guillaume Perret. We want to make a shorter version of 16 Sunrises, maybe half an hour, and it will be released with a new soundtrack, very more live soundtrack. And so we want to make a roadshow with the soundtrack and the ciné-concert. I hope the next year. So it is one of the big projects we have. But as a producer, I have many other projects. I have produced a fiction for France 2 in France this month. And I have a lot of documentary I produced about migration issues, environmental issue too. And I'm writing a new scenario about, it's a fiction about Algerian war, which is a very important part of the French history. And maybe I could produce another movie about a mission of Thomas Pesquet in 4 or 5 years when he will go to the moon. I hope so.
Oh, so he's actually planning to go to the moon in the next 5 years.
It could be, because Thomas is one of the most famous European astronauts. Yeah. He is very experienced, and maybe we'll go on the Chinese space station, and could be in 2 or 3 years, because he could speak Chinese, and after it could be possible for him to have a seat in the American mission for the moon. Yeah, it could be. Wow. If all happen well, it could be in 5 years, I hope.
Yes, I hope so too. I would like to see what is it like to be in the moon. I mean, especially with all the conspiracy about landing on the moon. That's really
Yeah. But we have a lot of message in the social media who say, oh, okay, you have done a good movie in a studio, and I have to explain to them that no, it's not in the studio. We don't have enough money to do such a good effect in the studio.
Yes, that's true. Now I wonder.
In space.
Yeah, I wonder how you explain that. Oh, we have this huge green screen to capture all the space.
Yeah. We don't have enough money.
Yes, I can imagine that there will be like very expensive budget to do such production. But I wish you such a good luck, Pierre-Emmanuel, for the next project. And also, I can imagine the budget production could. It's incredible. It's to do shooting on the moon. That's
maybe it could be. I have to continue to believe in my dream, and maybe my little prince could go to the moon one day.
Yeah, that's good. I pray for him too, so that he can go there too. So thank you very much. Good luck on your next projects, and hopefully you can do also the film production in France and all over the world, and in times of pandemics, because I'm sure that not only here, I think also film industry all over the world has been affected by this pandemic, and the budget production could explode double or triple just because of the pandemic.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot, and thanks all the spectators for their good question. I'm sorry for my bad English. I will be better.
No. You have great English. No, don't say that. Great. Thank you so much, Pierre-Emmanuel.
Goodbye.
Ciao. Thank you. So yes, everyone. Saya akan berbicara dalam bahasa Indonesia saja karena agak kagok tadi ya kalau dalam. Terima kasih sekali. Tadi kita sudah ngobrol bareng dengan Pierre-Emmanuel Le Goff, and I think this is also a good to conclude all of this is actually it is nice to watch a film like 16 Sunrises because it gives you more strength to dream. We need this kind of effort. We need this kind of films to dream more. And like if you watch the film, you will see that the power of dream can really actually create something in you, give you a good and positive energy to do something that is also great. And what I learned from the film, or what I feel, I mean, I don't like to learn from a film. It sounds like a study. What I feel whenever I watch a film, what I feel is that when you are taking out from your box, like Thomas Pesquet, when he traveled outside in a spaceship and he saw the Earth and he saw wonderful surfaces of the Earth, you really feel that, yes, a human being is not the center of the universe, and you need to protect the Earth. And this is something that you could also do in reality, in daily life. When you are taken out from your box and you can see clearly inside your box, this is something that will provide you a solution. So this is something that you probably need to rethink or feel that you could basically see the problem more clearer when you are taken out from your box, and hopefully you can find a solution. So this is something that I really like while watching the 16 Sunrises. This is it is a kind of film that inspires you. Sebuah film yang sangat menginspirasi, dan saya yakin film-film lainnya yang ada di Festival Sinema Prancis juga akan menginspirasi kalian dan menyentuh hati kalian dalam berbagai macam cara. Lalu saya juga baru dapat notifikasi dari panitia, katanya ada satu film yang tidak jadi diputar di Festival Sinema Prancis, dan nanti akan diganti judulnya seperti film. Sayangnya tidak salah satu film kesukaan saya, yaitu Portrait of a Lady on Fire. This is my favorite film. Apparently tidak bisa jadi diputar atau batal diputar dan akan diganti dengan film lain karena mengalami masalah teknis. Biasalah di Indonesia teknisnya apa ya, sensor. Saya suka sebel juga sih dengan sensor film, tapi ya kita masih berhadapan dengan itu. kita harus bisa mencari cara berdamai dengan itu dan hidup bareng sensor yang ada di sekitar kita, sama halnya seperti kita hidup berbarengan dengan pandemi dengan COVID-19. Saya Menina Putri undur diri, stay safe, selalu patuhi prokes, pasang masker juga kalau kalian jalan kemana-mana walaupun sudah divaksin. Dan jangan lupa nonton Festival Sinema Prancis 2021 di edisi ke-23 ini. Sampai nanti.
Mantieni l'ordine.
Bougez pas, bande de fils de pute! Le premier qui bouge, il défonce son entière!
Ah ouais, parce que je me disais quel rapport avec serveur.
En sortie.
C'est moi, Herchet.